Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
It's us. We're back at last. It's been a few weeks now, but I think
It has, isn't it?
it's probably one of the most technologically unactive, not unactive. I can't think of the word I want to use now, but technologically, that was about as smooth as we can get it.
What's that?
No technical upsets there.
Oh, I see. Apart from your keyboard not working 2 minutes beforehand.
But nobody saw that, so that never happened. We've got a lot of
healthy again. Yes, I am fit and healthy again. Thanks, Wolfman Gaz.
We've got multiple Gazes around.
I thought I would have been just here blowing me nose. See.
Wolfman Gaz says, you never noticed the jazz trombone and iron tree music. It's all funk.
Wednesday morning just hasn't been the same. Sorry, VJ. Sorry to ruin your Wednesdays.
Was it quieter before? More peaceful? Who have we got in the house tonight anyway? We've got Wolfman Gaz, we've got Mr. Morph, we've got a Gaz monster as well. Lots of Gazes. We've got Lazarus in the house, Horned Rat Minis, Anthony Boyd. Hello to you all so far. Thank you for joining us.
13 of you lovely people. Hello, everyone.
13.
Tuning in.
The Horned Rat Minis will be happy.
For us. Lucky for us.
Yeah.
Well, one of them's me. Oh, there's only 12 now.
Oh, now they're all going. 12, 7, 1, oh. We haven't even got one. Yeah, I closed the window, Pete. It was just,
you're on your own.
It was just sad. So we're here tonight, allegedly at least, to talk about Underworlds, the current and the pending. And I feel like we're probably going to go off at a tangent at some point, and we'll probably just talk about Underworlds.
Current and the pending. Like a really bad Batman.
Off the back of our previous video, which garnered a fairly decent response, I feel, in the end. Once we released that, we were a bit concerned about what our video might elicit amongst the internet lands. But overall, it sounds like a lot of people kind of feel the same.
I think we hit a nerve. The wrong expression. We chimed with other people's feelings. Probably not surprising, really, since the whole world obviously been in a global pandemic. That being what a global pandemic is. So that's probably why most of us are feeling the same. And I think none of us are the hugest of Games Workshop denigrators, but I think we all feel that we've been let down a little bit by them and their kind of constant chasing of products rather than actual game support. But
yeah, you might need to check your volume on Discord for your microphone because your audio is cutting out just a little bit. Then it was a bit.
We had that problem when we did the. I don't know whether it's something odd in my Discord settings. Let me see if I can work it. Probably can't.
There's usually an audio setting in Discord somewhere where you can set the cutout point, so it has to be above a certain volume. So if you drop that down, then it doesn't cut out as much or at all.
Okay. So automatically determine input sensitivity.
Turn that off.
Turn that off.
Yeah. Or there's a bar, slide it all the way down to the bottom.
Okay. How is that working? Is that working? Can people hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Is that all right?
Yep. Threshold. Right. That's the word. Threshold.
Threshold.
Wolfman Gaz says he gets similar problems, and yeah, it just seems to go, I'm going to be helpful, and it's not helpful at all.
Right.
It's like.
Well, let me know if there's any more issues. But yeah, I've turned it off.
It'll be fine until the next time we plug that in and try and use it, and then it'll just go back to whatever
it does seem to like resetting my settings. At least it's stopped trying to use the headphones and things now.
Do you have it on the browser, or do you have the
app.
Discord in? You have the app installed, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay, I would have thought it would save the settings then, but maybe it still doesn't. Who knows?
Well, to be fair, the swapping round might have been on the PC before I was out here. So.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah,
could be. So anyway, I mean, you did touch the point then, which I think is quite a valid one, which is that a lot of us feel a little bit betrayed. Might be a strong word, but abused, disenfranchised.
Also, quite a strong word.
I feel that's not. It's a bit strong word. Maybe just assaulted, battered, murdered. But yeah, I kind of feel that maybe a lot of us feel a little bit disenfranchised from GW because during that lockdown, fed up, Anthony Boyd says, and I think that's a very good word for it as well, fed up to the back teeth, because GW in the last season, they were just releasing stuff relentlessly. A lot of other companies out there had said, and I think one of the latest ones was, what was that card game that we tried to get into but we never really got into, where you just buy a deck and that's it, it's all in one. Keyforge. They've even said that they're not releasing anything for a while because they haven't got the stuff to be able to do it, and there's lockdown and stuff like that, so they even said, you know, we're just stopping at the minute. And I think several companies have done that kind of stuff, or when during the time when there was lockdown, they were saying things like, it's on TTS, here are some printouts that you can download and stuff, you know, just stay safe, everybody out there, whereas GW are like, buy more of our shit.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, obviously people, they made lots of money over lockdown, so people wanted to buy it, and obviously we can't be forced to buy it. But I just, unfortunately, rampant capitalism waits for no pandemic or man. Yeah, I just,
that is part of it.
I think to a degree it would be okay if they were bombed. Certainly for Underworlds. Underworlds is a competitive game. You kind of need to be able to play it face to face.
Yeah.
I think we all recognise that Games Workshop can't just let stuff pile up in a warehouse and they have big long run-ins for their stuff, and that's all fine. But I feel like they perhaps needed to employ an extra person or two to smooth things over, and perhaps to recognise that it has been difficult for them. So the Curse City thing, I don't know what problem was there, but there was no communication. And you know, the Arena Mortis, whatever you think of the new Arena Mortis pack, I mean, I think nobody particularly wanted it, but okay, yeah, it was coming anyway, so there's not much we could do about that.
Yeah.
But to sort of imply, like they did in the set, that we all desperately wanted it, and it was lots of people's favourite variant of the game. I mean, unless they've got some people locked in a dungeon somewhere and told them that's their favourite variant of the game, it's nobody's favourite variant of the game.
Do you like it? Yes, I like it. Can I go home? No!
Exactly, yeah, sort of Pavlovian response. They've been abused into liking Arena Mortis. I just feel that some sort of recognition that, okay, we didn't really want to release it like this, but we've kind of had to, and you know, thanks for sticking with us. But no, we just get like the current, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute, but the latest war compo said, here's a thing you might want in the future. Meanwhile, why don't you think about buying these? There's never any, you know, like we said in our video, have an FAQ.
Yeah.
We appreciate that lots of you are playing out there by hook or by crook, and we really appreciate that. Thanks. What we've done is we're trying to support you with that by generating an FAQ.
And when they did release an errata for it, they didn't even really give it any fanfare. They didn't even try and sell that. It was like at the bottom of an article about 10 ways in which the fish can't be killed in Underworlds or some shit like that. Some half-baked article which was just mostly, look at all these cards that are in one of the sets, you know, don't you want to buy it? By the way, there's an errata. And that was it. It was like, they should have led with the errata, if nothing, you know, they should have said, just a short article, you know, we appreciate everybody out there buying the game, still playing the game, like you say, by hook or by crook, trying to get, you know, time to do these kind of things, and to show our gratitude that, you know, here is a new errata, FAQ, and all that kind of stuff. That's all it needs to be.
Rhythm releases won't slow down. Our world coming back probably means it will intensify. Yeah, you might be right. But I suppose I just feel that I don't mind. It is what it is. There's not much point in moaning about it. I'm not really moaning about it. I just feel like I would feel better about Underworlds if they were the release train was this fast, but they were also backing it up with a bit of support. You know, making it a bit personal. When you don't really see anything from anybody about Underworld really on the, you know, Nick used to regularly post, and I'm sure he's very busy, but he used to regularly post in the Facebook forums.
He did post a little while ago to the answer to a question when I said something about, somebody asked something about the website and when it was going to next be updated, and I said it hasn't been updated in ages, even their deck builder hasn't been updated in ages, you'd be better off going to Underworlds DB. And he said, but it says soon on the website. And I'm like, Nick, it said soon for a year. What is soon? He's like, well, yeah, okay. And I appreciate that he was trying to get involved at that point, sort of say it's coming, but he obviously couldn't give us any information, so it was not very useful. And he was like, oh, you should email the GW website. Like, I've emailed them before. I never get a response. No one seems to care. I appreciate that's not Nick's fault, and he's trying to do his bit, but I think there are other people in the company that should be doing their job more. I feel like he's trying to do their job for them.
They probably, I mean, I'm guessing like everywhere in the world, they're short-staffed.
Which, considering they're making so much money, is a little bit...
Yeah. That's probably partly why. But they, that's and then the other thing is, at the end of the day, is there isn't any, there's no incentive for Pete to email Games Workshop and say, your deck builder's out of date, can you sort it out, please? Because we have a perfectly good one that somebody's fan created, which works brilliantly. Two, in fact, there's at least two choices. So why would we bother emailing Games Workshop to tell them?
Thank you.
Because that's kind of I say it's their responsibility, but they also know what's going on with their own game. Really, what's Pete doing? What are you doing?
My wife brought me tea and donut.
Ah, where's mine?
Because she's awesome. It's in the post, Robin.
I'm just out here with just a lonely cup of tea.
Oh.
Anyway, enough carping about that, because we did a whole video devoted to that. But yes, it was quite interesting that everybody did we tend to sort of hit hard words tonight. Terrible. Everybody's feeling the same way, is what I'm trying to say.
I do feel though that given they made so much money, and given that they've been making money hand over fist for the last decade, and that they didn't take advantage of any of the government grants or anything like that. In fact, they almost sort of didn't boast about everything, but they were very open by saying we're not doing any of this stuff. We don't need to do this stuff. We're doing absolutely fine as we are. So they, like you say, they could have hired one person to just do this side of it. And I know they are hiring, or they did hire new people to work on that game. There was Warcry that, and
they put out adverts. Maybe that's a clever marketing strategy, so that you feel like the game is going to be supported. Actually, it isn't, isn't it? And then, nobody ever knows whether they employ anybody, or presumably one person does. But nobody ever knows whether they employ anybody or not. I assume they did.
Good point.
I assume they did.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because I'm assuming because it was Dave before, wasn't it, who was like the lead game designer. So I mean, is he getting replaced? Is somebody else stepping in? Is he going back to what he was doing before, or is he moving on to other things?
I'm not sure. I don't know the history of that. I feel like he was brought in specifically to do Underworlds, wasn't he? But I may have just completely made that up.
I'm sure he said that he was.
Right, I vaguely remember reading this, one of the few games where they haven't just sort of got the T-Boy to do it. Not the T-Boy, but they haven't just kind of internally got the team together and done it. They actually decided we're going to make a competitive game and brought somebody in to do that. But I may have completely invented that. I
think that he said, because he used to do something else within GW. Right. He was like a project manager or something else.
Oh, so he wasn't brought in. He wasn't brought in especially there.
He wasn't. No, I don't think he was specifically brought in to do that. Now, anybody who knows more than me, do post it in the comments either now or if you're watching this later on. But I'm pretty sure when he did the Q&A at the Grand Clash we went to, and he mentioned something about it then, or somewhere around there. I've definitely got a feeling that was the reason he got brought in.
That wasn't him. That was John Bracken.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Damn, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, John Bracken said because he was like events or something, and he got seconded to the rules writing team, and he wrote the kind of offshoot rules. So he might have. I think he wrote Arena Mortis, and I think he wrote the Garden rules.
Okay. Chelsea Marlowe says. Andrew Marlowe says hello Andrew and Chelsea. Andrew can't reply because he's on holiday at the minute. He's been told he's not allowed.
Hello Chelsea, and hello Andrew.
Mr. Morph asks, are we speculating GW is placing fake job ads to convince the community that their third tier game is getting more support? I mean, who knows? They mentioned they were looking for someone. They must have someone.
I'm totally saying that.
They must have. Surely they must have someone by now, right? I mean, those ads went out a couple of months ago.
Yeah, they must have a person.
They must have a person. They should be showing that person off now. They should be centre staging them. Here is.
But they don't know, do they? And I've noticed that. And I don't know whether it's a deliberate policy shift or or just coincidence, but when Warcry came out, Sam Pearson, who was the designer of that, was kind of on everything. He was on the podcast stuff, and they interviewed him, and they told you who he was, and you kind of they kind of not bigged him up, but they did put him front and center of the marketing stuff. But I noticed for Kill Team, I've literally no idea who designed that. I just wonder whether they have stepped back, because I think the community can be quite harsh, can't it?
That is true.
So I just wonder whether they step back from people, sort of, from the designer's perspective, just so that they don't get flack for ruining
somebody's
Jim
game.
Neckbeard's favourite game.
Jim Neckbeard, that is my new phrase.
Jimmy Neckbeard. Yeah.
Jimmy Neckbeard, that's what they're all going to be called.
He's going to be in one of my kill teams. But so I don't know. I mean, that just may be coincidence. And I also noticed, and this is probably for totally different reasons, I also noticed on Warhammer Plus, and I've mentioned this before, that the writing teams on Warhammer Plus are entirely, don't mention them. They mention the guy who does the music, but they don't mention the guy who does the people who do the writing.
Or the animation, or the voice acting, or any of that kind of stuff. It's like, that's a bit crap, really. Mr. Morph does point out quite accurately though that if he worked at GW, he wouldn't want to have too much exposure to the community, and like you said, Robin, perhaps they've stepped away from that because people were facing quite negative responses from it seems to be that you're either the front line, one of the faces like Nick or like Duncan was, or Peachy, or you're almost a faceless entity behind the scenes. I've seen Peachy reps recently. I mean, don't watch much of this stuff. I haven't seen Peachy.
No, I mean, I haven't watched very many of the videos. They used to pop up on my YouTube feed. They don't so much anymore. So I don't really know what they're up to. But yeah, I mean, I think Sam was probably fine with Walker. I mean, I'm not suggesting there was any reason why he should have been pilloried, but I think if you were designing Kill Team or 40k or the new female Space Marines, that we all know are coming, you wouldn't want to be. You wouldn't want to know that. You wouldn't want to be the person who put that forward, would you?
Oh, that'd be brilliant. I would happily be on the front of every box of female Space Marines. Borrow
that costume from the gala last night.
Yeah.
Little Miss X's, or whatever he's called, his Stormcast / Emperor outfit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm guessing that they have a new manager for Underworlds going forwards. We know Season 5 is coming out now, so we know that we have at least got one more season left in it. Whether we're going to have a 6th season, that remains to be seen, I guess. I mean, GW are very unlikely to can Season 6 if it's in the works right now, even if 5 does poorly, I think, because it will probably still make them money.
I think so, and I mean, who knows? Because they employed a couple of different jobs as well. There was like a product lead and a designer, I think, or something like that, a project manager and a designer. So but it was Warcry Underworlds. But then there could be variants on the games. We've seen, or we're going to see, Bladeborn coming out soon, which is a Warcry variant. They're going to do more of those small box games. They want to shoot us in to do 2 or 3 of them a year. So people will be working on that.
I'm exceptionally looking forward to Bladeborn when we can get our hands on that.
Yeah, it should be really good. I imagine it's going to be very similar to Fireteam, but yeah, it will be exciting to play.
So, I mean, we've probably already talked to death of the whole Season 4, what was bad about it, why we've lost a bit of interest in it. So maybe we just should go to Season 5 now and talk about what we know at the minute.
Well, we do know that a lot of people who aren't getting overtime are the name writers for Warhammer Underworld. Kunnin Krew.
I mean,
that was the T-boy who came up with that.
And the TruthSeekers, which was, for all intents and purposes, a brilliant TV show that should have been renewed for a 2nd season, from what I understand. That's it. It does feel to me that the Warcom articles are written by someone who has no idea sometimes what these games actually involve at all. Because there was a bit on the bird, Taros. There's a bit in there that goes, whilst we can't let you see the rules for Taros, we already know how hunting companions work, like every single other fighter in the game. There's no such thing as a hunting companion in this game. So there's no term for it. There's no
No.
special rules. So why are you even talking about that? Which just felt really like it just
I
felt like someone.
assume they just meant Fast Rider's bird, didn't they? I assume that's just what they meant.
Well, they didn't mention that, and all they mentioned was the Grimwatcher's Harriers and Hrothgorn's Frathnir.
Right. Yeah.
It's like it feels like a paragraph or a sentence that someone who knows nothing about the game would write to try and big the game up. That point, and just go on about, oh, hunting companions, we know how they work. Do we? What? Do you know something? I know, but
Yeah.
there must probably are some, aren't there?
Yeah, there's been a couple of bits like that, haven't there? There's been a
Yeah.
couple of bits, I think. So over the years, but I mean, it's new season's coming. That's exciting, and yeah, I think we knew it was going to be Cruel Boys versus Stormcast, which I'm quite pleased about because I know how to paint those, so I maybe do a quick painting video for them. You know,
True.
and get tens of views.
And there was I did like the bit at the end of the second article where they were like, look into the raptor's eye, and then they put a massive picture of just, oh, it's a Stormcast and a Cruel Boy, which we already knew about. I was like, want to know more? That doesn't give me any more. Other than the Stormcast guy's wearing a cloak and has a sword. I mean, okay, that is new information, but I probably could have guessed that.
I had to look quite hard. I was trying to work because he almost looks like he's undead. He's very bony for a Stormcast.
He is actually quite thin. He's definitely...
Yeah, he's got a cape on. I thought I was trying to work out in a hood.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And the other one, actually, to start with, didn't look like a Cruel Boy at all. The face didn't look particularly identifiable, but then you can see he's got like a man catcher thing. And then I remembered that Gickit has one of those like things that you clamp on people's legs or knees or whatever it is. And
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, see what they're going with here, but.
Yeah, VJ says that Chelsea's given us a thumbs up. Thank you, Chelsea. Anybody else want to give us a thumbs up? There's 22 of you watching. Only 6 of you have given us a thumbs up. One of those is me.
and all the rest of you need to give us a comment in there right now about how you're feeling about season 5 of Underworlds and what you want us to talk about other than Underworlds.
Yeah. VJ has made a good point. He's interested to see where it goes after the Cruel Boys and the Stormcast, which I think we all are. I did read that there was reference to the Chaos Dwarf god in the new Cruel Boys book. Well, maybe not god, but some reference to Chaos Dwarf. I don't know. My lore is very vague. I seem to remember it was a god's name. I can't remember what it was now off the top of my head. So I reckon we are going to see Chaos Dwarfs. It's a really good place to test them out. And they're a really good line to put into Underworlds and get people to buy it and think, oh, maybe I'll give it a go as I've got these.
We're not worried at all that it's literally, there is no faction at all anymore for Chaos Dwarves.
Hashed. That was it. Yeah, it was hashed. Yeah. Well, there isn't at the moment, but I reckon in the same way as there wasn't a specific Kanothi faction, there could be, and then you know, if that goes well, I guess they then 2 years down the line build a Chaos Dwarf team, and
Also, I mean,
Sigmar.
Chaos Dwarves got removed from Forge World, and the Krew got removed from Forge World. And what we just get with the Krew, we got a big plastic, gorgeous kill team set with Krew in it. So who knows? Who knows what's coming up? I can definitely see them sort of cancelling the old Forge World line because it is a much higher cost, lower volume line. If they know they've got something new coming along that's in the nearest future, if they run out of the stock of those things, because they'll be like, there's no point in us trying to get the things like that set up again. So maybe.
Yeah, but so I mean, I reckon that's I'd stake a small amount of money on that.
What chaos do we think we're going to get in this one? We've had chaos in every single one.
Chaos.
So
Well, I reckon we're due. In fact, we're due kind of all of them, apart from
Slanesh.
Whoever. Pardon?
We're not really due Slanesh.
Yeah, because we could. Khorne, we're definitely due because there haven't been any out and out Khorne warriors since the first season, have there?
No, apart from Magor, there's not been another Khorne set.
No. So I feel like they could come. I don't know what. I don't know enough about the game or the lore to know what sort of fighters they might
I believe the term
use.
is little plastic men.
Yeah, but they could kind of reskin Reavers, I guess. Don't know what they call them, but
You got Godsworn Hunt, didn't you? And then you got
yeah,
the Blade Coven that sort of filled that role as well.
yeah, yeah. I just meant from an aesthetic point of view rather than a mechanical point of view.
Well, Lazarus says Zinch Disc Riders. That could be quite.
Yeah,
We do need a better Zinch warband. I feel.
yeah, I think Zinch are probably next overdue because they were longest to go and the most shite.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're the next overdue, and then Demons, Chaos Dwarves. Yeah.
Which demons would you get though? Because I can't see them doing like a whole 4 powers Chaos Demon warband.
No,
So
no, that would be madness. Eyes of the Nile are awesome, but they're lovely, but they're just they're not. They're not awesome. Yeah, so I don't know. Demons would be quite cool. I mean, a Khorne demon army. But then how do they? I don't know how they make the variants. I mean, I'm so out of touch with the lore on that side of it. I mean, it would have been just in my day it would have been like 4 or 5 demonettes. It wouldn't, not demonettes, bloodletters.
Bloodletters.
So it wouldn't have been very interesting.
That's the
Peter
thing, isn't
Vandenbosch
it?
is really looking forward to season 5. And he's having more in real life games in the coming months will give Warhammer Underworlds a boost. I hope so too. I'm a little bit worried, just generally, that certainly in the UK everything's going to go to hell in a handcart during the winter.
Yeah.
And so we'll be not encouraged to meet and play games in person, which means another 4 months of Games Workshop releasing stuff with little opportunity to play it. But that said, hopefully things will be good enough for Pete and I to keep meeting, and we can get a new set and play some games, because that'd be nice to do, I think.
Defcon C says he didn't even get a game of Chasm in, sadly, so hopefully season 5 changes that. I do hope that it changes for you there.
Definitely.
I mean, just talking about the UK going to the hell in the handcart sort of situation, I went to London today to work, and the trains weren't ridiculously busy, but it did almost feel like it was back towards normal again, almost straight away.
Right.
No masks, everywhere quite busy again, and it's almost a little worrying. But
yeah, there was some good news today. I saw, kind of really off topic now, but there was some good news that if you're doubly vaccinated, I can't remember, there were some statistics about how much it reduces the chances of death.
It's quite high, isn't it?
I mean, it was they got some proper stats on it now, and I can't remember what it was, but it was brought it down to really such low levels. You think, well, actually, okay, that's a risk. That's a risk not worth taking. That sounds a bit glib, but that's livable with risk, I suppose.
Yeah.
For life to go back to normal. So that is positive, but I think it's the pressure on the NHS and all that kind of stuff that's gonna cause issues, because that's dying and not just being ill.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, long COVID is still a much misunderstood or unknown thing.
And then there's the other issue of vaccine, how long with mutations and things. So anyway, that's rather beyond the remit of Tuesday Night Live.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we know we're going to get Stormcast. We know we're going to get Crawl Boys. What other AOS factions have been re-released recently? People put a shout out. I know Crawl Boys and Stormcast, but what other ones are there?
And I would like to see Cities of Sigmar, and I think I don't think they'll do them though. I think they'd actually be quite a good shout. They could get in a lot of variation. They could, they've got lots of options.
Like
a
Witch Hunter and a Priest and something like that. But yeah, I don't see them doing that because there's not a central line for that at all.
No, Justin has sold at least 10 warbands on commission. Nice. He says at least that means at least 10 people are playing it, or one dude really likes his painting.
Really,
is it like one dude who also gets you to send them to different places? Shadow Elves.
Yeah, Umbraneth, that they were released in Warcry, and we haven't seen anything else about them since, so maybe they'll be a good choice.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on when Malarian finally turns up or so, and brings the Shadow Elves to AOS, that would be quite a good one. And
I assume we're working on it being Gur again, are we? Does that fit in with the Crawl Boys?
I kind of assume so, because I think the Crawl Boys are in Gur. Somebody can correct. We need a Maliki or somebody who's into the AOS side, or Matt. I saw Matt comment earlier. I think he's into that a bit more, but yeah, I think that all of the current stuff going on, I don't think it's centred around Gur, but that's, I don't feel like we're going somewhere new based off of the artwork we've seen. The bird, for example, is on, has that big tree on the base, which,
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
doesn't necessarily say it's definitely Gur,
It's
but
not a shadowy tree.
It's not a shadowy tree or a very light tree or anything like that. So Peter Van den Bosch says that he would love to see some new Dwarden. I think you're more likely to get witch hunters. DJ
Yeah, and actually, DJ the Lucky One has mentioned witch hunters, and I would love to see that. I guess that would be more likely than Cities of Sigmar and sort of tie in.
I still feel it would be very un-IPable and thus not likely to attach much of GW's attention.
The witch hunters.
Yeah.
Well, they don't. Do they need to be? I mean, they just can give them now. I don't know. It's not really.
I just feel like everything GW do now has to be very.
But they did them for Curse City, and they did some more for iOS, didn't
they? I like Justin's suggestion.
Yeah, that's.
Sons of Behemoth, just a model, a pair of feet. That would be a brilliant boss. That would remind me of in 40k 3rd edition or 2nd edition. There's, and I'm sure that this was in Warhammer as well. But there was generally always a spell to be able to summon the Foot of Gork that would just come down, squish things. And even back then, I was a fairly large Monty Python fan, so I would love it for the Monty Python visuals that you have going on, just this giant foot coming down.
If Curse City still existed, it'd say Witch Hunters, but would be a dead set. But what's Curse City? I'm still not sure. Curse City won't just suddenly reappear one day. Could be wrong.
I also wouldn't be surprised to tack on to the end of that if GW treated it like they'd never released it before. Coming out, Curse City! Yeah, you did that. No, this is Curse City. No, you released Curse City. No. Don't know what you're talking about. This one's going to have expansions. So, it's almost a bit like the game, and anybody who's, it was part of that has now lost the game because I mentioned it, but it's a bit like the game, you can't mention Curse City. Pim Van der Bosch says, what do guys think that figure was in the Eye of Taros, the guy with the sword? I'm assuming that's Timmy TruthSeeker or whatever his name was. Zandire's TruthSeekers. I'm assuming it's him. I'm assuming it's him.
Yeah, I was trying to work him out because he didn't look like any of the existing that I could think of. Kind of, he's from the new box. He's not a spearman nor a big chunky bloke with a shield, is he?
No.
So,
just a bloke with a sword and a cape. I'll tell you what warband better be in this bloody season. Better be fucking Skaven in there. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody just mentioned that. That's Anthony Boyd. You're stealing his.
I know. It's just reminding me there needs to be some bloody Skaven in this bloody season because they haven't been around since season 1. And God damn it. People want it.
Yeah, people love Skaven, and that, you talk about IPing, that is one of their big things. I mean, the Skaven in Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and in particular in the Old World and Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, the Skaven were brilliant. And I don't know. I'm surprised that we haven't seen more Skaven in it because they lend themselves to that kind of arena combat, and they're mobile, and I feel like
with Skaven there are so many different options you could do there because they've got all the different clans and the different flavours of Skaven. Skaven flavour. You could do the plague rats. You could do the Moulder ones. You could do the assassins. You could do the Skye ones with the lightning. There's so many options. Maybe they're doing a whole different arena combat game just based around the different Skaven clans fighting in Skaven.
Clan warfare or something.
That's what they need to produce. Screw Warcry and Underworlds. That's what they need to produce.
The TruthSeekers look like the Praetors to me, Matt says. I can't remember what which ones the Praetors are. So I'm obviously forgotten a chunk of people. I suppose I could just look in the box behind me, but I'm not going to because it was chaos.
Everything falls down. The shelf falls on Robin and crushes him.
I was going to say something. Oh, this is completely off by the by, and I apologise for just throwing this out there. It's a total tangent, but kind of related to what we were talking about earlier. Curse City. I don't know if anybody saw. the recent release schedule for Cubicle 7 and their Soulbound RPG. They have, it's quite a long way down the line, but they have a Curse City expansion in the pipeline. So you can go and play in the city of Radika, or whatever the city's called, but Ulthuan, isn't it? Ulthuan. I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember what it's called, but
someone help Robin out.
Ulfenkarn. It's just there, Ulfenkarn. So yeah, so you basically they're going to have an Ulfenkarn source book for Soulbound. So yeah.
Oh, Justin's wondering if it's.
It wasn't me. Ulfenkarn. Yeah.
People asking if I farted and forgot to mute the mic. I didn't forget. I just farted.
Okay. I'm at my age actually. It's not me because as I get older, my God. And I thought I lost a bit of weight and eat a bit more healthy. I thought it would get better, but no. I suppose there's just less space for it to go inside. I don't know.
I'm 40 years old. It's just
not any better.
It's just the way that things are in life.
40. Oh, I dream of being 40.
What I wouldn't give to be 40 years old.
Joe Wicks went viral when he farted on one of his live videos. I don't think that's going to happen here.
It was. I thought that was. I mean, to try and put a bit of a the phrase. What's the phrase? I don't want to lay it on too thick, but I thought that was blown out of proportion. Because he even did a video afterwards apologising about it. It's like, come on, man, you just farted. I know you're meant to be Mr. Perfect and all, but it's okay. You don't need to apologise on YouTube for that.
Don't know. It's all grist to the algorithm, isn't it?
Well, that's true. Yeah, it's a bit like when YouTubers do something horrendous, and then they retract the video after once it's got a few million hits, and everything around social media is kicked off it, and then they produce another video apologising for the releasing of the first video, but they also monetise that one. Like, come on, what's going on there? Just
farted mid-workout, says Wolfman Gaz. Yeah, it's true.
You know you have to stop once you shit yourself. That's when you've really got to the wrong point.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Back to the subject. I would quite like to see some Skaven. I don't know what other Chaos Warband I'd like to see. I don't think there's any other ones that I'd be particularly interested in seeing, because we've had Chaos in every season so far.
But Chaos is everywhere. I don't want to see any more Orcs. No, I'm going to see the Crawl Boys anyway, but I don't want to see any more.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that you'll probably share out of luck on that one.
I don't want to see any more of that. I don't mind the Crawl Boys. I don't feel like Orcs in the same way. Maybe it's because they're just a slightly different colour green. I just, yeah. Anyway, they'll be all right. But
they're a bit more Lord of the Ringsy sort of Orcs, aren't they?
Yeah, and I do like those. I
GW
do like those for that reason. But I would like to see Chaos Dwarves, some Skaven, some Shadow Elves, some Witch Hunters / Cities of Sigmar. I've lost count already. That all those things would do me.
Chaos Dwarves, people were saying, but I don't see that ever happening.
Chaos Dwarves?
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
You don't see? I think that's going to happen.
Oh, well, there we go. There's the bet right now.
So we have a competition. Who, right, in the chat, who thinks I'm right and thinks that there's going to be Chaos Dwarfs, and who thinks Pete's right and thinks there isn't going to be Chaos Dwarfs in Season 5 of Underworlds?
And I just want to clarify, that doesn't mean a warband of Chaos baddie guys with one short Chaos baddie guy in it.
I'm claiming that as a win.
That does not count.
I'm claiming that as a win, even if I have to cut the legs off. I told you they were Chaos Dwarfs. No, a Chaos Dwarf warband, which is made up of at least 50% Chaos Dwarfs.
At least, yes. I'll gladly accept 2 Chaos Dwarves and 3 Hobgoblin type mix or something like that, but not just a group of big bad guys and one short bloke.
Right. Yeah. People are leaning towards me. It's my magnetism. What can I say?
Fine. Nobody likes me just because I farted. Fine.
Yeah. That is generally less attractive.
That's what I go for. Good.
It must be, because my wife doesn't go anywhere near me and I fart all the time.
I mean, I overall, the 2 fighters they have shown off so far for Underworlds are 2 of the least impressive fighters. We've got, Gikit is one of 2 grots, so we know we're going to get a warband with 2 grots in it, I'm guessing maybe 3 or 4 crawl boys, depending on how tough they want to make them. So we're going to have maybe a 5 or 6 fighter warband there, but they've given us like the toilet paper fighter of the warband, I feel. And then the other one, we know we're pretty much going to get 3 Stormcast and a bird. So they've given us the bird. It's like, give us something meaty that we can get our teeth into.
With the bird.
Just
That's exactly what it is. Roast dinner. Yeah, I think I would agree with what Matt's just said, that the fact that they've never introduced a Warcry warband is slightly odd. I don't know which one they would start with, but they I would like to see. I would like to see that. And you've got the crossover again. You get people, okay, well, because it's. I mean, I haven't played Warcry for a while, but often when you buy one box, it's not enough to give you the complete options.
Yeah.
So they could sell a small box with 5 or 6 or 4, 5 or 6 models to add to it, and then you know it supplements it really well. I would have thought crossover was key in this game, but maybe I'm just an idiot waving his hands about.
A lot of people saying they don't like the cow elves. They want more cow elves, and I agree with that. I don't want cow elves.
I don't. I wouldn't expect to see them again this time.
But then, you know, we've been, was it 2 seasons without Stormcast? So it's kind of inevitable they were going to come along again, because they are
inevitable.
Well,
yeah, but they keep introducing them by stealth, don't they? So we've had
True, it's true.
The terrible ones from the new box.
Yeah, and we had the ones from God, I can't remember what that one was called.
Dreadbane.
Yes, Dreadbane, that's
Dreadbane,
it.
whatever it was.
An equally, slightly bad warband.
I love the Condemners 100 times more than the new ones. Maybe 1,000 times more.
Maybe.
Again, I think that's partly contributed to my malaise of season 4. I mean, I can see why they've done a starter box, but those kind of boxes always feel like well, actually, we seem to have these things lying around. We wanted to package them to sell them.
We were going to do this in AOS, but then the idiots put sculpted bases on, so we were like, fuck, we've got to do something with these now.
Yeah, I don't know. Because that starter set is about. It's useless as a starter set for 100 reasons, and then they made one of the warbands massively OP. So it's about if you play Stormcast using just the starter set, it's about as much fun as trapping your balls in a door, because it just isn't any fun.
Unless that's what you're into. Some people are into that.
Well, okay, maybe, and then they could do that and then play as Stormcast in the starter set. And they seem to. We talked about this before. They seem to struggle with the exception of Cursebreakers, actually making balanced warbands for Stormcast. They're all shit.
I think it's because they always end up making 3 of the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, because there's the shocking level of kink shaming Heroes Offensive. We didn't say it was a bad thing, you know. If that's your thing, just like some people probably. Or are you talking about playing Stormcast?
It's as painful as shutting your wanger in the door.
Unless he's talking about the people. Unless he's talking about the people who like playing Stormcast. Maybe that's the kink shaming.
Well, if you enjoy playing Stormcast, great. Then you can really enjoy that. But I have enjoyed the games we had with the Condemners. Are quite good fun. They're very dice swingy, but they were good fun. But but new ones, they were the opposite of fun.
Yeah. Logan McClellan's in the house. Hello, Logan.
Hello. What's up? Yeah.
Well, we're talking about Underworlds Season 5. What do you reckon's going to be in it, Logan? Tell us what warbands you think are going to be in there, because that's where we're at right now. I'm quite interested to see how... because Gikit's one of 2 of the Gits, and he has this ball and chain thing, and I wonder if his attack's going to be like make this attack, if you succeed, your opponent loses 1 move, or maybe your opponent gains a move token or something like that, perhaps. So
and if they miss, they get to push you one way.
Yeah.
Because you're taken off by the ball, so your opponent gets to push you.
Yeah. So something like that would be cool.
interesting idea with the wizard with endless spells as models. That would be quite interesting. I'm not sure it would quite work, but I guess it could be made to work.
Yes, you just have a wizard to start with maybe, and he has to cast spells to summon more creatures of some kind.
The only problem with that is there is an obvious weak point in the warband.
Yeah. Yeah, if your opponent manages to somehow teleport, jump, smack, Mollog across the field and you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, good game.
It's a new idea. An endless spell. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of endless spells. That really did smack of just doing something so you could sell models, which I know is the whole point of Games Workshop's existence.
That's 99% of their reason for being, isn't it?
Really like them, but not that I've ever played with them or against them or painted any of them, but I don't really like them.
It's just one of those things you've seen, you've gone, don't like that. Moving on.
I think I quite liked the concept when I saw it, and then when I read the rules, because we were a little bit more into AOS when they first came. I just thought,
I didn't like
just
the fact
more
that
it's just more modifiers.
Yeah, it was just more things to have to keep track of. It was like, I can't be bothered with that.
I'd like, more fringe warbands like Scarce Wild Hunt, which is why I kind of think Cursed Dwarves might happen, or the Shadow Elves might happen, or sort of some variant on some sort of maybe a enclave of humans or something for some. I don't know. Yeah, anything might happen.
The Wild Hunt Logan has said here that he's hoping to see some kind of warband with cities of Sigmar, so hunters or something, and that's definitely one that you would be happy with, Robin.
Definitely. Batonians. Don't anybody say anything. We already had Batonians. It's a bit spongy from the chat if you do.
Not going to say anything.
Now, half a dozen people are going to put that now, aren't they? Hopefully nothing like the Crimson Court or Soul Ray where you have to keep track of hunger or reader page. That is what I fear, is that there's a lot more. I've got a lot more thoughts to unpack about the complexity of stuff, but I fear that Games Workshop to keep things interesting. They just keep bolting stuff on, and stuff gets more and more complex, but doesn't get any better. That said, I do quite like the warband design for Chasm, so I'm kind of contradicting myself there. But I feel like, although it's quite neat, I'm not sure from a game design point of view necessarily better, because the amount of tokens that you've got and the kind of text that you have to read and the things you have to remember, I don't think it's actually better for the game in the long run.
Anthony Boyd says that he hopes we get something completely left field and unguessable, but we've got to try and guess what that is, Anthony. That's
what on earth is unguessable? Space Marine.
Just a gene stealer turns up. I'm going to fuck up all your days. That's it. Matt says Crimson Court Hunger isn't too difficult to track though. I mean, he should know. He is in the final of our Patreon Season 4 Vanguard tournament.
Yeah.
He will be playing the final next Sunday, and he did take a very very hangry deck he's got.
Is it a hangry deck, is it?
It is a very hangry deck.
Oh, okay.
When you're fighting them, it can be a bit of a what's going on, because your opponent just starts building up these little piles of tokens on all of his cards. You're like, what? And then you suddenly go, I've scored 15 glory because I've got loads of hunger tokens.
Yeah, it is a bit, and the things change. And there was something that you get. I remember playing you, and you were like, and I thought I could kill you, but you had the hunger tokens on.
Oh yeah, because Gareth.
You get an extra wound or an extra something. I can't remember what. And I was like, you're not dead.
Gareth gets an extra wound once he becomes.
Yeah, so I went in to kill him, and but it's not at all obvious. Where you kind of do need those arena more big tiles to put on the wound counter. So
my only defence on that one is the fact that I did tell you about 2 minutes before you then went to attack him that he had 5 wounds.
Rubbish. Yeah, but I was busy.
You played the game.
Not a defence. It's not a defence.
Busy. You can't say you're busy when you're in the middle of the game with me.
I was busy. Well, you do. You bloody texting other people when we're in the middle of the game. I come off, discover that you've been having a chat in Discord while we've been playing the game. Which might explain the win-loss ratio in our part.
Does explain the win-loss ratio in the garage, though.
Yeah.
Chaos
Right,
Dwarves
anyway.
and bolters from Realms
Well,
of
whoever
Chaos.
domestic.
Well, if you made it look like you were paying attention to me more, I have feelings too.
Tim says, what did you miss? Well, Tim, you've missed the end of Agents of Sigmar.
God. We're just trying to work out, Tim. We're trying to work out, Tim, what we might be seeing in Season 5. One thing I'd like to see in Season 5 that I'm pretty much sure 100% of that we won't get is no additional rules like magic and hunger and hunter and quarry.
There's no point in even trying to guess that, but yeah. Companions.
Oh yeah, well that was the thing, wasn't it? When we posted it in our Patreon Discord, I can't remember who it was. They joked, "Oh, companion mechanics," and then immediately were like, "No, God, please, I don't want that."
Companions. Somebody you can ring up on a Friday night when it's chilly and you're on your own.
I'm lonely. Defcon sees a Seraphon with a Croxagore would be amazing. I kind of, whilst in some ways that would be cool, I hope they steer clear of doing a Hrothgorn or a Moloch. They didn't really do that in Chasm, from memory.
No, Clock's only.
Because he's only 4 wounds, isn't he? So
yeah, he's not too bad.
I kind of hope they steer away. They continue to steer away from the big guy problem that they sort of.
The big guy problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do tend to be very polarising, don't they? And they do. That will keep the Voltron meta rolling.
Mm. And I kind of, overall, I just want to see a big reset on Underworlds, I think. I feel like it's just got a bit too sprawling, especially with the rotations of boards and stuff. It just feels like there's all this stuff hanging around. And I know it's not actually in the game because, you know, they've been rotated out. But I mean, we've got a stack of boards about that big on your shelf, haven't we? There you go, you can just see them there. Just see them there.
There.
I can't quite see them on the screen. Pick them up. Dance for me. Dance for me, monkey boy.
Oh, there are some tokens in here as well. But yeah.
Look at that. I mean, look at all that. Like a good 75% of that's just going to get chucked. And I know that is both our sets of boards in there, but that doesn't show all the other boards that are hanging around elsewhere that we haven't stacked in that pile.
I've absolutely lost track of the board situation.
Yes. Yeah, at some point.
I've absolutely no idea which one's illegal or whatever. But that kind of feeds into something I was thinking of saying tonight, Pete, and I think I will say it. I hate you. Yeah, no, I feel like this season has really made me think, actually, this game needs to be played casually now. I mean, I suspect we'll probably get a warband of each type, but I'm not sure I'm that stressed about getting 2 warbands of each type and kind of keeping up and getting everything, because it's a lot of people commented on our video, sort of just have fun with it rather than play everything and keep everything and stop chasing it. And I kind of feel like I might have to do that.
The only thing I'm not sure on that one is if one of us decides, we'll get alternating warbands, and then I'm the one who gets the warband that has the new ready for action in it or whatever, and then you're like, oh, I want that one too now.
Well, we can take a view, can't we? But at the moment, first thing we do, order 2.
Yeah, because we don't even get sent one. Don't even get sent one for free.
So
disgusting.
sometimes we do, and who knows?
That's true.
Who knows what will happen?
I don't know. Are we going to get one?
Sorry?
Like, who are we going to get one? I don't know. Who knows? Generally, we wait and see if someone like a man has posted something about them. We're like, okay, we're not getting one because he's obviously got them, so we're not getting them.
Yeah, but then this turned up this week.
Well, that's true.
So, yeah.
Which also makes no sense.
No. So I just feel like I'm not going to chase it so much this year. So if there is a car that's really good that I want, I mean, either we take it in turns and we have it, or we proxy it because we're on camera. So we're not on camera, it doesn't matter, does it? So I don't feel the need to force it.
No, you shouldn't force it. Forcing is bad.
Exactly. I knew as soon as I said that you were going to say something along those lines.
Sorry?
I knew as soon as I said that you were going to say something along.
I was going to say, if you force it, forcing a game is like a fart. If you force it, it's probably going to end up being shit. Thank you very much. VJ has just created a whole new warband of Skaven, Clan Milder. they're a very British warband. They're actually just a warband of mice, very British field mice.
Very British warband.
Clan Milder. They just come and go.
What do you mind? You seem to be on my objective.
No? Okay. I'll just wait back here then.
Yep.
If you go and attack someone and you don't get any successes, you have to just take your model off. I'm terribly sorry. I'm very sorry about that. You just have to leave and then give your opponent some glory.
They have a queuing mechanic. All line up behind each other.
Every time you want to take a turn, you have to first ask your opponent if they would like the turn instead.
When they hit you, you say, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Every time your opponent hits you, you lose a glory. Every time you hit your opponent, you also lose a glory. If you're next to an objective hex and an opponent is as well, you can't stand on the objective hex because they might want to stand on that objective hex. So
yeah, exactly.
Clan Milder.
Except you get plus 20 glory at the end because you just assume you're better than.
And then you get to tut and shake your head quietly. And that's it. There we go. No, what were we talking about before Clan Milder and pooing? Oh, playing Season 5. I could definitely see us going the route of just saying, okay, we're just going to play either Vanguard meta in Season 5 or even just doing Warband only cards or something like that. Just really try and cut back on the headaches. Obviously, if our patrons out there in lovely Patreon land come along and go, I've got a sick deck, yo, you should play this, then we can maybe then try that out and show that off. We're always up for that kind of thing. But otherwise, I think, maybe we just play the warbands themselves, because people don't watch our channel to see what new amazing tactic we've employed. Mostly they try and watch to see if those two fuckwits won't fall over this week and set themselves on fire somehow. So,
just tuning to watch your dice.
Exactly. So, that's our thing. I don't think whatever kind of decks we build make too much of a difference in that situation.
No. I think people do like to see what we've come up with from time to time, but I think trying to keep up with everything is it's a little bit too much, especially if we're going to be playing Kill Team on the side. So try and take it a little bit less seriously, enjoy it a bit more, and try not to get jaded, I suppose.
Yeah, I think mixing it in with other stuff more is going to be our aim over the next year. So there'll be Underworlds, there'll be Kill Team, there'll be Fire Team, there'll be Blitz Bowl, there'll be what other stuff have you got there where you just about drop on your own head.
We must play Blitz Bowl.
Yeah, definitely got to play Blitz Bowl. There's maybe that Marvel-y sort of game, Marbly game.
Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Because we've got Blitz Bowl on the shelf here. It's not even out of the box. And somebody, I think it was Tom, commented on our Patreon Discord, because loads of chat going on over there. We'll stop talking about it one day, but if you're not a patron, join, because it's brilliant, it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing I've ever done with my life, the Patreon Discord.
I think so. It's the best thing we definitely did on the channel, to be honest.
Yeah. Obviously being married and having children is probably slightly better than Discord. But
is it though? They might be watching. Yes, definitely. Tom mentioned about how the second box has the plastic inserts to hold the models. The first box didn't. The first box didn't have that.
No.
So, just an interesting thing I noticed when I was looking in the box the other day. So definitely some Blitz Bowl. We've got 4 or 5 teams already for that one.
We need to play that again.
Yep.
Or just get Andrew and VJ on to play it for us.
That's true. VJ may take a little longer to get here. Yes, but that is another thing, which you've just touched on there, is getting some guests in the studio.
Ooh, yes.
All of our patron supporters, if any of them are around, we are going to try and organise to get some of the Patreoners into the studio now. Obviously, a lot of our patrons are abroad and they can't make it, which is a shame, but anybody who is down in the southeast, We do want to try and organise that so we can maybe get somebody to come along and play us with some Underworlds, some Blitz Bowl. I mean, there's even things like Fire Team and stuff like that you can play without, having to really set up or worry about too much prep. So,
yep, and it's much nicer in here now than it used to be.
Oh yes.
There's no spiders in here. Well, no spiders in here yet. Unless you leave the door open. No spiders in here, so it's a more user-friendly experience.
One thing we never did once we got the studio set up is we never showed everybody what it looked like inside. We took a picture.
Well, I was thinking it's our seventh. It's our birthday soon. Our birthday video. So I wondered for our birthday video tour, sort of how far we've come from your kitchen table to.
Tour is a strong word because it's going to be like.
Well, yeah, you haven't seen the new extension I put in.
Yeah, it's in the West Wing.
Okay, tour is a long word. Yeah, well, it's not a long word. Tour is quite a short word, but it is stretching it to its very limits.
So that'd be a tour.
You just said we've never shown you we're never going to get to our birthday because you're just being objectionable now. You just say we haven't shown you the studio, and I say we can show you the studio. You say, well, we'll show them the studio. They get it.
I'm just being a bellend. That's just how I am.
It's like being with a teenager.
Does your teenager do the thing where they start to say something and then you sort of interrupt them by saying, "So I can't hear you. You need to speak up a bit," and they go, "Oh, never mind."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't listening. Well, I was listening. But you only enunciate every fourth syllable, so I couldn't work out what you were saying.
Squeeze their heads. Drives me mad. Drives me absolutely mad, especially the fact that my hearing is crap, so I don't hear very well anyway. And then he'll mumble behind my back, looking in the other direction, with his face in a pillow or whatever, and I'm like, "What did you say?" Doesn't matter.
Mine's a little bit better now, but he does other things that are.
Like just take up space in the
house. It just seems like you say, "Oh, we're going to go out to this place that you really like," but you doesn't want to go at that time. Why would I do that?
I only got 5 o'clock. I only got 4 o'clock.
Yeah. So we said we'd go somewhere for Christmas, somewhere he really likes, and it's just for dinner. But he's like, "Oh, why are we doing that? That's the beginning of the holidays. I want to be with my friends." Well. Because that's when we're going, because it's a weekend.
So, shut up. Ungrateful little scumbags. I can't complain too much.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of our parenting woes.
Yeah. Whoa. I'm not sure what I'm expecting from season 5. I guess I'm kind of a little bit resigned to the fact that we're not going to see a big change. Nothing spectacular to make me go, holy crap, I must be all over this again. But I think that's okay, because I know you're keen for a reboot, but I feel like if it was too big a change, it could fuck it up completely. Like Kill Team.
You know what I mean? Sorry?
Like Kill Team.
Well, no, but I don't think Underworlds is that broken. Like Kill Team was quite broken, but I think they have a problem here. They've marketed it as an ultra competitive game, and so they have to. That brings with it certain expectations of the community and certain types of rules reading. So they can't have such open things that are easy to abuse anymore. So I think that by necessity makes it more complicated and more wordy. So I don't think you're going to get slim, streamlined.
I don't know. I mean, you could get streamlined and use, like a lot of other competitive systems do, and use keywords and stuff better, whereas they didn't.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Would that constitute an overhaul for you if they kind of streamlined it all and gave keywords? Because they had the problem with the legacy. They have legacy issues then, but ignoring those for the moment.
Ignoring those, I think if they tried to implement keywords a bit more and have a bit more structure around the cards, and maybe change the way upgrades works, I think that's the big one for me, is making upgrades a bit more restricted. Because right now, obviously, you could put all 10 upgrades on one fighter, And I think that should only be the case that you can do that if you only have one fighter left. Otherwise, I think there should be something in place like a glory multiplier or a ceiling of upgrades that you can put on a fighter, and / or there can be only one version of an upgrade card on the field at a time, kind of thing, like from Arena Mortis. But I think that is where I'd like to see the biggest changes.
Yeah, that'd be fair. I mean, that may completely stuff aggro play. I don't know, but yeah, I think something needs to change there. They need something to stop the piling on. Because I mean, even when objectives were in fashion, you still tended to play multiple objectives, multiple upgrades on one fighter.
Yeah, I just
I
feel like
I think it would be good to slow that down.
I feel like the ability to be able to put all your upgrades on one fighter is a potentially easy way to break the game, because once it's fairly easy to try and get a lot of 2-card combinations to not break things. 3-card combinations get a bit trickier. 4-card combinations, though, can then just become impossible not to break the game. And I feel like for the most part there should be like a 3-card limit on a fighter, and that's kind of how I feel it should be done. And then
or it costs more glory, as we said before, because I think part of the issue with the game, especially as it's evolved, is that you almost don't need to bother turning over your glory because you get so much reasonably quickly that you've only got 10 upgrades in your deck. And so once you've got 10 glory, you can play pretty much whatever upgrades you like. There are a few things now where you win what's the word? Unspent glory or spent glory, and things that you have to give glory away and stuff. It's a little bit different, but I feel like the glory trade is so quick that the paying for objectives is almost negligible, apart from right at the very, very beginning.
Yeah, Morph says that he likes the idea of increasing glory cost, and if he was still playing, he would house rule that as standard. I mean, every now and then we talk about, do we house rule this? Do we try and see how this plays on the channel? Do we test this out? But we always feel that, well, if we do this, the chances are people then start just chucking comments in the channel saying, you've done this wrong because you've done this and you shouldn't do that. It's like, well, we can literally say at the start of our videos, we're putting this house rule in, or we're doing this differently, or I think our Ravagers versus Fish Elves video, we literally said right at the start, we're using the beta rule for the Ravagers Inspire, and someone commented on the video, you inspired them when they were standing on 2 objectives. Like, yeah, because we said like 2 minutes before, so there's always a bit of that, and I think we have
I think also we're not a big enough sample really to know whether a beta rule is any good. We need more people to play it.
Maybe we should make the next Patreon TCS season. We'll do something like that. Maybe
check out the beta rules.
Yeah.
I mean, Regis says he's not played since glory totals were much lower. Of course, if you played during Shadespire days, any sort of glory stacking would be a nightmare. It would be, it wouldn't be very good. But you can. I mean, I can't remember. We have had games where we've scored less than 15 glory, but it's quite rare. I'd say maybe 10. Certainly more. Certainly, games where you score less than 10 are very rare.
I think the averages have definitely gone up a lot higher. And in Shadespire, single glory totals were much more, they weren't uncommon at all. We'd have some games where somebody would score 20 and the other person would score 2 or something, but they were much rarer, and that's normally when the dice decided to completely...
And even that, I think they were Nightfall rather than Shadespire.
Possibly, but so I definitely feel like you say, because a lot of the Surge cards now, there's usually a bunch of fairly scoreable Surge cards, some reliable end phase cards, and killing people isn't completely outside the realms of possibility. You can rack up a lot of glory pretty quickly, and once you get to 8 or 9 glory, it just doesn't matter what upgrade you're going to put. We've had many games where we've been sitting there and halfway through the game we've gone, I think I forgot to turn some of my glory over, I'll just turn over 5 or 6 now. Not that it really matters.
Okay, because it's almost like it's becoming like objectives where in Nightfall you forget to put them on the board, or you forget to turn them back over because it's not important.
I kind of feel like maybe they need to tie upgrades to objectives. You only get an upgrade when you score an objective.
Okay, that would be one way of doing it.
Not quite double-sided, but you score an objective, you gain your glory, you put that down, you pick up another one, and then you can play an upgrade on somebody. Maybe something like that. Because then that also means, you might have an upgrade, you might have a objective you can score, but you might not have any upgrades. So do you want to hold off on doing that, or just go for the glory?
Yeah, I think it's a nice idea. I feel like it probably could. I don't know. I don't know what. I don't really know what it'd be like if you're having trouble scoring your objective. Make your game very boring.
But you're gonna find that anyway, aren't you? Because if you can't score your objectives, you can't.
Well, no, because you can sometimes. Like if I can get this kill, then I can get this upgrade on, and then I can start doing this stuff.
Okay, but so you could do it like that. You could say, if you kill someone, you can play an upgrade, or if you score an objective, you can gain an upgrade.
So you mean basically you have to do it at the time, almost like a reaction.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've won the glory. I can play. I mean, it wouldn't be a reaction because then people can interrupt it. But basically, in response to gaining this glory, if you don't spend it at the time, you can't spend it.
Basically, something like that. You either gain that glory, and at that point, you can spend any of that glory on upgrades or on one upgrade maybe, and then any that aren't spent get turned over straight away. Something like that maybe.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Something to remove some of the, because we're so awash with glory now. Upgrades are just, they're going to happen. There's almost no question, but unless your game's going bad, upgrades are just going to happen, and generally lots of upgrades are going to go on one or two fighters, which means those fighters are going to be much better. So I kind of feel like we need something in there to make the thought process of where do I put this upgrade more important again, because it's not really that important now.
No.
It's just inevitable.
Yeah.
So actually, that's kind of how I'd like to see the game change, is to make that aspect of the game more tactical again. Because it used to be much more in the Shadespire days, when glory was much less easy to come by. That was a bit more of a tactical decision. I kind of would like to see that come back again.
Yeah, and kind of throwing away upgrades was a thing. Do I throw it away? Do I keep it? Whereas now, I feel like, apart from at the very beginning of the game, you just don't worry, because you can afford to play them.
Yeah.
You can afford to put them on wherever you want. I mean, you might not be able to put it on the right fighter or something, but pretty much there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to. Sorry, ignore me. So yeah, I do know.
So that's the kind of aspect of the game I would like to see changed. The other aspect of the game I like to see changed is a bit more card shenanigans with decks, maybe reshuffling your cards back in and redrawing and things like that. And I would like to see at the beginning of the game maybe the option to, if you draw your hand and you go, well, these are dog shite, instead of just getting rid of them and redrawing, maybe you can just say you can reshuffle both decks and then you have to repick the lot or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That would actually make it easier, though. It would make the glory train even faster.
Possibly, but then in conjunction with these other things, you would then have that more difficult decision of, I've just won. It would also negate the it wouldn't completely negate the problem, but it would maybe lessen the benefit of the glory train when you uberfy one fighter who's then gaining 3 glory every time they kill someone. They've then got to kill a couple of people, and you can put nearly all your upgrades on anyway.
Yeah, although we don't. I think we're getting down a rabbit hole now. We don't have that situation there where you get lots of very often for killing one fighter anymore.
Not so much. No.
But VJ says, yeah, are people better at scoring it, or is it easier? I think a bit of both. People obviously are, the best players are obviously there's some tried and tested routes to glory, but I think the sheer just by numbers, there are more search cards in the game.
Yeah.
The fact that they have to restrict to 6, but there are more search cards in the game, and some of them are very easy to score. I mean, there's literally one for your opponent killing one of your fighters, I think, isn't there? There's anything to prove, pretty much. If they gain the primacy token, you score a glory. So
the primacy token again was a good example of how they can make glory obtainable without make it break the game, because it was always a spent glory at the end of the round, so it was never something that you could just gain loads of near the start. And I think again there were cards, there were a few ploy, but the other side of that is there are ploys now where you can just play a ploy, and pretty much it's just you get a glory, you give this token to your opponent and get a glory for it. So
Yeah.
Glory is, I think, much easier to come by now, overall.
Yeah. So Raoul Chavael says blue in Magic, which I assume is a reference to a particular playstyle they have, but unfortunately I don't know what it is. I haven't played Magic for many, many years.
No. I did notice that DJ the Lucky One did post comments saying as long as it's as there is some variety and it's turned down a bit, he'll be in. So, I mean, what is turned down though? I don't see them ever turning it down. I think that each season is just going to turn that dial up further. We're not up to 11 yet, but it keeps going upwards.
Vigo's keen to see more fire team. I'd like to bring more fire team to the channel too. Again, all these things is time. Perhaps Pete and I get divorced, I somehow keep the house. Not that Pete and I are married.
You don't need to keep the house. You just need to keep the studio.
Keep the shed. Keep the studio. Yeah, okay, fair enough. There's a room down there.
For a bed.
I could get a Portaloo delivered or something.
It's it does come down to time. I think we are getting to that point where, especially things like Kill Team, we can get a game of that in a night, and that is it. We've got no chance of getting more in ever.
Not
really.
at the moment, and I don't think it ever. Just knowing us.
No, not the way we play.
Not recording it as well. I mean, you might be able to get 2 in an evening if you were playing it.
Yeah.
Just at home, but recording it as well takes.
I am always tempted.
Longer.
Yeah, I am always tempted sometimes to say, let's just not record anything and just play a couple of games and just see how quickly we can get those games in. But why when we could record it as well?
Yeah, we have kind of discussed that though, because we seem to do better on our videos where we talk about games. So sometimes I wonder whether we should just play Underworlds against each other of an evening. We could play 3 games, probably crack out 3 games with possibly different warbands, possibly the same warbands, and then not televise it at all, as it were, and then just talk about our experiences afterwards, and whether that actually would be better for people. I don't know.
It does make you wonder sometimes. It does make you wonder. I mean, the video we did about Warhammer Plus, one of our most watched videos recently, is over 5,000 hits now. It's just us talking about shit. I know it's one of our least favourite videos. There's a lot of thumbs down on it, but it does make you wonder.
But even the one we've got, even the ones we've done this week.
Yeah, why we've stopped playing Warhammer.
Tend to outstrip our battle report ones.
Yep. I wonder though if it's because Underworld's battle reports right now just aren't the thing that people want to see.
Not what people want to see. Well, that's because we're not making them.
Could be. I mean, that's why we said
we even today, my Arena Mortis one has got 600 views nearly.
Wow. Okay. That was like a 25-minute video of you just opening a box and talking about a few cards.
I make some astute observations and the occasional joke.
Morph says that we could still film them, release the raw footage, or cut in highlights of the footage we were talking about games. I mean, possibly, but I don't think anybody wants to see the raw footage of our games. They would be terrible.
Nobody wants to see my raw footage.
They are bad. just I can't describe. I think, unfortunately, because I think our video quality is very high now on our videos. I just don't think that anybody would like seeing videos of a much lower quality now. From us,
Net
at least.
nerds love meta talk. Yeah, meta talk is kind of fun.
But that reinforces my belief that I'm not a nerd, because I mostly don't give a shit about meta talk. Just people start going about which cards are the must-haves, and like, why are you talking about this shit? Fucking Jesus Christ!
We have talked about that shit before. I hate to tell you this, but you are a nerd.
I'm not a nerd.
You're just not a nerd about the particular cards. Other things you are a nerd about.
I'm mostly a nerd for like the models. It's mostly the look of the models that gets me.
And the video setup.
Yeah, that's my hobby. Is setting up the video and recording games. That's my hobby.
Yeah, mine is being told off by Pete for not doing the right thing.
If you did the right thing, I wouldn't have to tell you off, would I?
Yeah, but then I wouldn't have a hobby. I've sent Peter video. I've sent Peter videos of our kill team model so that he can
little spinny
splice
bits,
them into the main video when it's finished. And I just know he's going to say, "That's really good," or not even "That's really good," but he's just going to say, "Oh, next time you could do it from a different angle, or you could lift up the light level, or something like that." I know he's going to do it.
You know what? I watched it earlier, and I think it's fine. I think it's great.
Oh, wow!
I even noticed, and it didn't go unnoticed, and it was very appreciated that at some point you put the model not in the centre of the base, and after it rotated, you then centred it and let it rotate again the whole time.
Wow!
I love you.
It does pay off.
Yeah.
This continual nagging does pay off because I noticed and I moved it for you.
Just imagining one day Robert being out in the studio going, "It must all be straight. It must be straight. Pete likes it straight. It's got to be straight."
I was worried that because at one point I put my hand up above the thing, I was worried I was changing the light level, and then you were going to say, "Don't! What are you doing to block the light towards the end of the rotation?" Anyway, we've really got off.
Mr. Morph says that he's bought his mate Marvel Champions, and he's for his birthday, and when it arrives, he's going to point him at your games, Robin, to see how to play.
I am really looking forward to playing that again, and I was joking with Rosa, another patron, today that it's gone from I haven't got time to play that. It's gone to actually I've got the box out, and at some point I'm going to play it, and it's got to the point where I still haven't got time, but at least I'm getting to the point where I can consider playing it, so that I have actually there's the possibility of having time to play it. So it's going in an upwards direction playing that game. I do enjoy it. And my kids are big into Marvel at the moment. Trying to get them into it too.
You never know. It's that thing, we have such a finite amount of time to do these things. It's always finding what is the balance between what we are going to enjoy doing and what people are going to actually want to watch. Because there's no point us playing a game that we love that 3 people and their dog's going to watch. There's also no point in us, spending ages playing a game we fucking hate, even if it's going to get a few thousand views, because we tried that with AOS and 40k, and then while they didn't get a few thousand views, as they were more popular, I suspect if we were doing loads of 40k battle reports, we would get more hits on them, but I don't think we would actually enjoy those games. So
no.
DJ the Lucky One says Peter Robbins therapy sessions is a bit like it's a bit cathartic, this whole process of streaming live. It's even better when we have Patreon only chats, little plug again there, every few Tuesdays. We don't do a Tuesday night live, we just have a sit and Patreon, if we like to call it, where we just chat on Patreon with various people whilst we paint and hobby, and that's always really nice to hear other people talk as well.
That's very therapeutic. Yeah, Vega says we need to make a proper list, then make a roster instead of just talking about it.
What, the different games to play? We kind of have for the next few weeks.
We have. We've actually got the next 3 weeks planned, I think. The only problem with go on, Pete. You probably say the same thing I was.
No, Clan Milder. After you.
Well, all I was going to say was the problem is that because GW send us stuff unexpectedly, so you have a plan, and then they'll send us. I'm sure they'll send us Underworlds soon. Fingers crossed, and then we'll have to play it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we have got some plans. The next 3 weeks are booked in. This Thursday, next Thursday, and Thursday after are booked in, and then we'll see what happens.
I envy people like Ash on Guerrilla Wargaming who does like a video a day. He plays a different game system like 5 days a week. I know it's because he's a stay-at-home dad, but his kids are in preschools or whatever like that, so his daytime with that is literally his job is do some recording and some editing and stuff, and he puts it out, and it shows because he's got like nearly 100,000 subs now or something like that, and he's not quite a one-man band, but he is almost a one-man band, and that's pretty bloody impressive stuff. Miss Morph says it must be such a pain to get sent free stuff from GW. It is. We're going to record a video soon about how we're going to tell them not to send us it because they don't send it to us early enough.
Yeah, well, no, obviously it's brilliant, but it makes it hard to schedule.
It is a pain when we go, right, we've come up with this new plan, we're going to do, for the next 3 months, we're going to do this thing where we're going to have this campaign and we're going to record all this stuff, and then the next week GW suddenly chuck a load of stuff as we're like, shit, now we've got to record all that.
Well, we were going to be playing Marvel Crisis Protocol for I don't know how long, and we just haven't.
Yeah, that's been on our to-do list for about... In our defence on that one, we did decide to maybe do that soon, just as the summer holidays landed, and we might as well just give up any plans during the summer holiday.
Yeah. Some Warhammer Underworlds content in those 3 weeks, and that rep maybe. I think. Sorry, Peter, to upset you. I think probably you won't see one of them until season 6. Season 5 comes along.
I won't see what. Oh, you're talking to Vanden Bosch. I thought you were talking to me. It's a bit
no. Peter Vanden Bosch.
Started using my full name. I was like, oh, I'm in trouble.
I doubt we'll play one before season 5. But when season 5, that we should be refreshed. And when season 5 hits, we should have some sort of back catalogue of some other stuff, and then we can just play 2 or 3 weeks of Underworlds. You'll be like a pig in clover.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do an unboxing as we always do, and our thoughts. We'll do on our thoughts video on it, and then we'll probably jump in and just do a season 6 is a long way off, Peter.
I did correct myself, but I've just reiterated season 5.
We'll do an unboxing. We'll do our thoughts on any changes they made to the game. Then we'll obviously play a game. Maybe we'll play a couple of games. We'll record one of them and we'll play one as a test or something like that.
You'd have a day off, Pete. Come over.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sort it out. Even if you just don't tell the boss, just say you're in a meeting or something.
I've got planning sessions all day today.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got some holiday left. I might book a day off sometime soon. Once we know it's coming. The other problem with GW is, it's not a problem, but the one thing that does stuff us up is they quite often send us stuff either in school half terms quite often.
Yeah.
It's like, shit, we can't do anything now because it's half term and we're busy with the families and lives and things like that. So then, it's just terrible timing.
Yeah, timing is normally pretty bad. But we will get there. Life is returning to normal now. The children are back at school, and we will get there with some exciting content and hopefully several different games. And particularly season 5, which is going to have Chaos Dwarves in it, and Cruel Boys and Stormcast and Shadow Elves. If I'm really, really lucky, some Cities of Sigmar. And if Pete's really, really lucky, some Skaven. And that will be exciting. That will be exciting. Even if we just play those, just the faction club, that would be exciting. So
I can definitely see us just going more with the whole faction card approach to things, and because then that means we can be a bit more flexible with what we do. We haven't got to try and plan a deck out weeks in advance and build the deck and find all the cards.
And we'll probably play better as well because we haven't got less cards to remember.
Yep. You haven't got to sit there and try and remember that tactic that you were going to do. And
the only problem with that is that GW aren't very good at balancing them, so it could be a bit boring.
That is true. I think we find that we've got decks where we've got there's a Wormspat deck in there and then a Hrothgorn deck in there. Maybe we try and come up with our own Vanguard tournament ranking system for that, and then do something like that.
Sounds like too much like hard work, but yes, maybe we will. I am planning on, and hopefully we'll get to do, and I'll try and do it for each warband as it goes along. Like my mum will just tidy up after yourself as you go along. It's much easier. I'm planning on doing a essentials deck, essentials cards plus faction deck thing for each warband.
Not a bad idea.
Each one comes along, so everybody can get access to essentials, and you only need a warband then. Maybe from and just build a deck, and then it should be fairly accessible and hopefully fairly balanced. Obviously, if there is some imbalance within the warbands, the essentials pack is only probably going to exacerbate. But hopefully that will bring some sort of interesting content and some interesting games. That's.
But also, it's not our problem to try and balance their game. If they can't balance it, it's just the way it's going to be.
It's not. It's only a problem if we end up over an evening of playing a game and you just one of us destroys the other one because the imbalance in the thing. That's the only issue with it. But we'll get around that.
It's the other thing we were thinking of doing is we want to try and do a bit more of a whizzy warband summary thing where we're just going to do a new more like a new starter or an intro video to each of the warbands,
Yeah.
which we've never done.
We were going to do
before.
that for each of the Chasm warbands. That never happened.
We thought about it, didn't we? We never really got round to it, but I think we'll definitely prioritise that now because I think people want to see that a lot more sometimes than they do battle reports. But we'll see how we get on, I guess.
Yeah. So you can expect to see lots of Underworld content, Peter, but probably not until October. That's what I would say. I'm not talking to you now, Pete. I'm talking to Mr. Van den Bosch.
So I was in trouble again then. That's my full name.
It's 11 o'clock, amazingly. Thank you, everybody, for listening. A few of you have tailed off now, but we did get up to nearly 30 at one.
Did we?
So
oh, word.
I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it's good to be back and doing Tuesday Night Live. Hopefully we'll be back next week with another one. We'll see what we do. I've got a little plan. We'll see what that's about. To let you know next week.
If you're still watching this and you're not live now, you're watching this afterwards. Do stick a comment below. Obviously, let us know what you're looking forward to in season 5, and do like and subscribe and thumbs up and all that good stuff.
Comment on the Chaos Dwarfs if you think Chaos Dwarfs are going to be in season.
I reckon not, but we'll see.
Pete reckons not, but everybody vote Robin.
Boo! Vote Robin if you want to be a loser. Right, well, thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully you found that entertaining and maybe a bit informative, but maybe not. Who knows? But anyway, thank you for sticking around.
Entertaining. Good night all. I hope you're not crying into your pillow, Peter, as you go to bed. And we will definitely be back soon.
See you soon. Stay safe, everybody.
Stuff.